at 10. You've just heard the headlines. Now on with the year held at the Chief Advisor's office in the city's Tejgaon area this morning. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammed Yunus chaired the meeting. The Council of Advisors decided to significantly reduce customs duties and overall tax incidence on mobile phone imports and local manufacturing. The Council of Advisors also discussed the state-arranged funeral and burial of three-time former Prime Minister and National Leader Begum Khaleda Zia. The meeting expressed gratitude to all concerned authorities for ensuring security.
এই বছরের প্রথম ক্যাবিনেট মিটিং হলো। ক্যাবিনেটে অনেকগুলো বিষয়ে ডিসকাশন হয়েছে। এনআইডি আইন রহিতকরণ অধ্যাদেশ 2025-এর খসড়া নীতিগত চূড়ান্ত অনুমোদন সংক্রান্ত উপদেষ্টা পরিষদের সিদ্ধান্ত বাতিলের প্রস্তাব অনুমোদন হয়েছে। কিছুদিন আগে বাংলাদেশ লেবার অ্যাক্ট হয়েছে। লেবার অ্যাক্টের কিছু বিষয়ে কমপ্লেন আছে, তো সেগুলোর জন্য এই কমপ্লেনগুলো আবার রিভিউ করার জন্য একটা কমিটি করা হয়েছে। আপনারা অতি শীঘ্র এটার অ্যানাউন্সমেন্টটা পাবেন। কমিটিতে কারা কারা আছেন তারা লেবার একটা খুব দ্রুত একবার রিভিউ করবেন, করে দেখবেন যে কোথায় কোথায় কোনো অসঙ্গতি আছে কিনা, বা এটাকে পুরোপুরি রিভিউ করে তারা আবার একটা রিপোর্ট ক্যাবিনেটের কাছে দিবেন। আপনি মোবাইল ফোন আমদানি কাস্টমস ডিউটি কমানো হয়েছে। আগে ছিল 25% কাস্টম ডিউটি, এখন দিতে হবে 10%। এটা করা হয়েছে এবং যারা মোবাইল ফোন যারা এখানে ম্যানুফ্যাকচার করেন তাদের জন্য কাস্টম ডিউটি যেটা আগে 10% ছিল সেটা 5% করা হয়েছে। এর ফলে আশা করা হচ্ছে যে বাংলাদেশে মোবাইল ফোন ইন্ডাস্ট্রি আরও বেশি ব্যাপকতা পাবে, আরও অনেকে ইন্টারেস্টেড হবেন বাংলাদেশে মোবাইল ফোন ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং করতে। যে সমস্ত মোবাইল বাংলাদেশে উৎপন্ন হয় তাদের চাহিদা বাড়বে এবং এগুলোর দামও কমে আসবে। সরকারি ব্যবস্থাপনায় যারা হজে যাচ্ছেন তাদের সেরকম কোনো কমপ্লেন আমরা শুনছি না, যতটা প্রাইভেট যারা হজ এজেন্সির মাধ্যমে যাচ্ছেন, তো তাদের বিষয়ে একটু আলোচনা হয়েছে নতুন করে কিভাবে এই পুরো বিষয়টা হ্যাসেল ফ্রি করা যায় এবং যারা যারা এই কাজগুলো মানে এই নেগলিজেন্স করছেন তাদেরকে কিভাবে আইনের আওতায় আনা যায় সেই বিষয়ে আজকে ডিসকাশন হয়েছে।
In the briefing, Deputy Press Secretary Azad Majumdar said that all textbooks for this year will be possible to be handed over to the students by January the 15th.
1 জানুয়ারিতে 2026 শিক্ষাবর্ষের চাহিদাকৃত প্রাথমিক এবং প্রাথমিক স্তরের মোট 30,02,05,104টি পাঠ্যপুস্তকের মধ্যে 24,59,92,110টি বই শিক্ষার্থীদের হাতে পৌঁছে গেছে। এটা মোট পাঠ্যপুস্তকের 83%। প্রাথমিক এবং প্রাথমিক পর্যায়ে এবং ক্ষুদ্র গোষ্ঠীদের জন্য প্রস্তুতকৃত বইগুলো শতভাগ, ইবতেদায়ী মাদ্রাসার 95% বই, নবম এবং দশম শ্রেণীর ছাত্রছাত্রীদের জন্য 86%, ষষ্ঠ শ্রেণীর ছাত্রছাত্রীদের জন্য 82% এবং ব্রেইল পদ্ধতির 77% বই নির্ধারিত গন্তব্যে পৌঁছে দেওয়া হয়েছে। এছাড়াও সপ্তম শ্রেণীর 63% এবং অষ্টম শ্রেণীর 52% বই শিক্ষার্থীদের হাতে তুলে দেওয়া হচ্ছে বছরের প্রথম দিনে। ডিসেম্বরের 28 তারিখেই সবগুলো পাঠ্যপুস্তকের PDF কপি ইতিমধ্যেই ওয়েবসাইটে আপলোড করা হয়েছে। বিশ্বের যে কোনো স্থান থেকে যে কেউ এই পুস্তক প্রিন্ট আউট নিয়ে পড়তে সক্ষম হবে। আমরা সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে আশা করছি এবছর 15 জানুয়ারির মধ্যেই সবগুলো পাঠ্যপুস্তক শিক্ষার্থীদের হাতে তুলে দেওয়া সম্ভব হবে।
The Smoking and Tobacco Products Usage Control Amendment Ordinance 2025 has come into effect, subject to the presidential assent. The ordinance came into effect on December the 30th, 2025, subject to the approval of the President, said the Chief Advisor's press wing this morning. Under the ordinance, smoking, as well as the use of all tobacco products, has been prohibited in all public places and public transport. Penalty for violating this provision has been increased from Taka 300 to Taka 2,000. However, all forms of tobacco advertisement, promotion and publicity have been completely banned across print, electronic, internet, social media and OTT platforms. According to the ordinance, the sale of tobacco products has been prohibited with 100 meters of educational institutions, hospitals, clinics, playgrounds and children's parks. Besides, the ordinance has imposed a complete ban on emerging tobacco products, including e-cigarettes. The production, import, export, storage, sale and use of such products have been declared punishable offences with provisions for a maximum of 6-month imprisonment and a fine of up to Taka 5 lakh for violations of the law. At the very beginning of the new year, new textbooks for the primary and secondary levels have been handed over to students for the new academic session. This year, no grand book festival was held at educational institutions due to 3 days of state mourning following the death of former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia. However, despite the absence of celebrations, young students were delighted to receive their new textbooks on the first day of the year. Today, teachers and school authorities distributed the books to students at various schools across the country. Teachers also expressed their happiness at being able to deliver the textbooks to students in time. Although there was no festive atmosphere, joy was clearly visible on the faces of the students as they enjoyed the smell of new books. Parents also expressed satisfaction that their children received textbooks on the first day of the year. Religious Affairs Advisor Dr. A.F.M. Khalid Hussain has inaugurated the book distribution program under the Mosque-Based Children and Mass Education Initiative. He inaugurated the program this morning at a ceremony held at the Islamic Foundation in Agargaon, Dhaka. The event was presided over by Islamic Foundation Director General A. Salam Khan. Other speakers included Special Assistant to the Chief Advisor, Professor Ali Riaz, Munir Haider, and Secretary of the Ministry of Religious Affairs, Muhammad Kamal Uddin. Speaking at the event, the Religious Affairs Advisor said the government is working with the highest priority to promote Islamic education. Arrangements will be made to provide Quranic education at the university level. He also said that preparations are underway to hold a fair election and emphasized working with integrity during the tenure of responsibility. The advisor further stated that the government would provide scholarships to imams, Islamic scholars and meritorious university students and will extend all kinds of support for studying at leading universities around the world. Today is the third day of scrutiny of nomination papers submitted by candidates for the 13th Parliamentary election. Following the end of nomination submission on the 29th of December, the scrutiny process began on 30th December. The verification is being conducted at the offices of returning officers and assistant returning officers across the country. At the Dhaka Divisional Commissioner's Office, scrutiny is underway for a total of 253 nomination papers for 13 constituencies in Dhaka. The process will continue until the 4th of January. Candidates whose nominations will be declared invalid during scrutiny will have the opportunity to file appeals until the 11th of January. Foreign Advisor Mohammad Tawhid Hussain has said Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's Dhaka visit should not be viewed through political perspective. Briefing newsmen at Foreign Ministry this afternoon, the advisor mentioned that the positive image of BNP chairperson and three-time Prime Minister Khaleda Zia not only exists in Bangladesh but also in South Asian countries. The Indian External Affairs Minister's Dhaka visit was aimed at paying homage to Begum Khaleda Zia, he said, adding that it is just an expression of etiquette. The second day of state mourning is being observed today following the death of Begum Khaleda Zia, a top leader of the country's democratic politics, former Prime Minister and chairperson of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP. A 3-day state mourning began across the country yesterday and will continue until tomorrow. On the second day of state mourning, the national flag was kept at half-mast at all government, semi-government, autonomous and educational institutions, as well as public and private buildings and at Bangladesh missions abroad. The mourning programme was announced in a notification issued by the Cabinet Division last Tuesday. The notification stated that the government is deeply saddened by the death of Begum Khaleda Zia, the uncompromising leader of the movement to restore democracy. In her memory, state mourning is being observed from Wednesday, December the 31st, 2025 to Friday, January the 2nd, 2026. Special prayers will be offered tomorrow at all mosques across the country, and special prayers will also be arranged at other religious places of worship seeking the salvation of Begum Khaleda Zia's soul. Yesterday, BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia was laid to eternal rest with state honour and dignity beside the grave of her husband, Shaheed President Ziaur Rahman. Accompanied by family members, the deceased son, Tariq Rahman, laid his mother to rest in the grave. As part of the state honour, a guard of honour was presented by the armed forces to the former Prime Minister. Prior to the burial, Begum Khaleda Zia's historic funeral prayer was held at the South Plaza of the National Parliament building, Manik Mia Avenue, and across several surrounding kilometres. Millions of people participated in the funeral prayer, bidding a final farewell to the uncompromising leader with grief and respect. Many are describing this funeral prayer as the largest of all time. The mausoleum of former Prime Minister and BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia has been opened to the public, allowing people to pay their respects. BNP leaders and activists, along with people from all walks of life, are visiting the site to offer prayers and pay their respects. The entrance to Zia Uddan in Sher Bangla Nagar was opened after 12 p.m. today. Earlier, from 11 a.m., a large crowd had gathered to visit Khaleda Zia's mausoleum. After the gates were opened, people were allowed to enter and pay their respects. BNP acting chairperson Tariq Rahman has expressed his gratitude and appreciation to the armed forces, law enforcement agencies, government officials, diplomatic representatives and members of the media for their role in the janaza and burial of BNP chairperson Khaleda Zia. In a post on his verified Facebook account this morning, Tariq Rahman conveyed his thanks, saying that despite the nation's deep sorrow, his mother's final farewell was conducted with proper dignity and respect, reflecting the responsibility and professionalism of all involved. He praised the roles of the Army, Police, RAB, intelligence agencies, various ministries and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He also extended heartfelt respect and thanks to media personnel from both home and abroad who covered the event despite challenging circumstances. Tariq Rahman emphasized that his message of gratitude comes not as a representative of any institution, but on behalf of his family as a matter of personal acknowledgement. The love and emotion of people, even after the death of Begum Khaleda Zia, would certainly make BNP stronger. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir made the comment after visiting the condolence book signing program at the party's central office at Gulshan in the capital this afternoon. He further said that Begum Khaleda Zia was a rare personality in Bangladesh's politics. Presence of huge number of people during her final departure proved that people are vocal in practicing democracy through the path shown by Khaleda Zia. A condolence book has been opened today at Bangladesh television in memory of the recently deceased three-time former Prime Minister and BNP chairperson Begum Khaleda Zia. জাতীয়তাবাদী সামাজিক সাংস্কৃতিক সংস্থা জাসাস initiated the event, supported by the Bangladesh Television Officers Club and the Bangladesh Television Employees Union. BTV Director General Mohammad Mahbubul Alam, BNP Standing Committee member Salim Rahman and BTV Deputy Director General Mohammad Rokun Uddin signed the condolence book in the morning, expressing sympathy and condolences. Jashash convener Hilal Khan and Member Secretary Zakir Hussain Rokon, among others, signed the condolence book. The condolence book will remain open to the general public until 5 p.m. tomorrow. On now to international news.